Well, hello YouTubers. As you can see, it's another new month already. I can't believe how time flies. I got a couple new stickers. That's the fire patty sticker that you get on the top of your little tin. I asked them if I could put one of those on my toolbox. It's kind of hard to read. And then we all know who this is, don't we? If you have these available, let me know. I don't know if you can see the dry erase board up there. Last weekend I worked all weekend on a how-to video for Ziva's contest, and I just couldn't get it to work. I worked on it this morning and I finally had a success. So now I'm going to go back through and show you how to make it. I've seen people do it on YouTube and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do it, put it that way. Let me zoom you in on that board. Oh, that's not the board. Let's get over there on that dry erase board. There. Is it going to set? We're going to make a fire piston. I'll show you these parts over there on the table, but we've got a copper stub out, piece of oak dowel. I ended up using 2 O-rings, a wooden cabinet knob, one of those double-ended screws that screws in from either, you can screw it into the end of the dowel and then screw the knob onto it. Put the O-ring there, you got to cut a little hollow in the end of it for some char cloth, and then you can use it to start a fire. Let's go see if we can build one. Okay, what we have is a 8-inch, half-inch stub out. It's in the plumbing department. It has a solid end on it. And what you do is you cut it off between 4 and 5 inches, somewhere in there. I cut mine at 5 inches. I used a tubing cutter that you tighten up and spin around. Don't do that because that kind of crushed it in, and then I had to put a flaring tool on there to flare it back out to where it was half inch again. What it was, it just kind of crimped it in. Just take a hacksaw and cut it off, and then file it and clean it up. And you'll need a 1/2 inch dowel. I bought an oak one. This was 36 inches. There's a whole bunch of little pieces of oak around here that were failures on this job. Tried all kinds of stuff. Couldn't get it to work. Finally, I settled on these the 1/2 inch is the outside diameter, 5/16 is the inside diameter, and 3/32 is the thickness of the rubber, or the diameter of the rubber itself. That's what I used. And that's what it looks like. I started out with some that were, it was only 1/16 thick on the rubber, and it just wouldn't work because if you look, there's just too much play in that inside of there, and I couldn't, if I had the rubber tight, making a tight seal, it wanted to roll out over the dowel rod, so I had to get a thicker piece, thicker rubber. I took the old compass, set it at 1/4 inch, put the point on the end, and then rolled the dowel rod to make a ring all the way around it. Then you take your pocket knife, or you can take a little coping saw and cut that groove in there. And then I used a little diamond file and filed it till I had it just where I wanted it, so that O-ring just fit in there. And then I ended up making a second one. Most of the people make them only have one O-ring on them and they work, but I couldn't get it to work. This is what mine looked like after I got both those O-rings set in there. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but it took take your time, and you can get them in there and keep trying it in your tubing to make sure you got a nice tight fit, so that when you push down on it, you got a seal. Then I got some, you can use like Vaseline or something. I just had some oil, lubricant out here, and put a little bit of that on it. I also put a finish on the dowel rod. You can use any kind of finish you want. I have a finish that I used to use when I made my predator calls. But you want that to be a tight seal. See how it's supposed to spring back up. What you do is you take that little piece of char cloth. I made some char cloth last weekend. Fold it up. Get it stuck in this hole. And it'll start an ember burning there. It works like a diesel engine, and that the compression actually causes it to fire. Can you see it burning here? So let's start cutting this. The way I did it is just start here with your knife blade and follow that line all the way around. And then come over about the thickness of that. Just kind of cut in. Then you just keep trying it out. They're kind of hard to get on. A little too snug yet, maybe. That might be pretty close right there. See how easy that was? Work it a little bit smoother in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is slide it all the way on there. And mark it right here on the end. This little round part will make the cavity that you need. See where that comes to? There's still a little open cavity down in there for the compression to build up. I'm going to cut this off and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I got it cut off so it's the right length. It's just flush right there. what we need is a little cavity in this end for the char cloth to fit in. So I'm going to carefully do this and try not to that ought to be enough. I don't know if you can see how deep that is. I just didn't want to get carried away, and I just kept tapping the trigger to get some depth there. Now the other end, we need this a little bit. Try to hit the Okay, what I'm going to do, I didn't have but one of those double-ended screws, so I'm just going to use a regular screw, screw it in there. Okay, we're back to where I left off. I got the screw screwed in there. I'm going to take it and cut it off, and then put it on the grinder and put a point on it. I'll be right back. Okay, I got a point ground on it. I'm just going to take the knob and screw on there. Now you'll want to put some kind of a finish on it. You know, you can get just a spray clear varnish or something. Take the O-ring off when you spray it. There we go. Now you got to get it out of there. That's how it's supposed to work. There you go. Fire piston for Ziva. Hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching.